A lot of people ask me, what is pandiculation? So pandiculation is a safe and deliberate three-step process that relaxes tight muscles and with practice results in long-term pain-free flexibility and mobility. So if you want to give it a try, this is just a simple pandiculation you can do to relax some of the muscles in your shoulders just while you're sitting in the chair. So we'll begin by bringing our attention to how we're sitting in the chair. Then we'll work with our left shoulder, then our right shoulder, then we'll bring the two together so you can then notice if you have any improvement or change. Just be aware as well that none of these movements should cause you any discomfort or pain. So you're in charge. If you need to, just make the movements smaller. So by starting with how we're sitting in the chair, if you can allow yourself so you're not slumping and resting on the back of the chair, and so that your pelvis, your hips are sitting nice and comfortably in the center of the chair, not too far back or forward. And then just close your eyes. It just gives your brain less information to have to process. And bring your focus down to your bottom and how it's connecting with the seat. It might help you to imagine painting your bottom in yellow paint and then sitting down. And just notice what that imprint would be like on the seat. Notice if one bottom cheek would be a bigger shape on one side, or maybe a darker yellow where there's more weight. That's just a good indication there's more tension down one side of your body, pulling it onto that hip. Again, don't change anything, you're just noticing. And then let your focus move up to your shoulders, the top of your shoulders and your neck. And just notice any areas that might feel tight or discomfort anywhere. And if you had a comfort scale on the sliding scale of 10, 10 being really comfortable, 1 being uncomfortable, what would your number be? And then once you've fixed on that number, just remember that and we'll check in at the end and see if there's an improvement or a change. So you can allow your arms to just rest on your legs or hang by your sides, and they're just along for the ride. So we'll start with the left shoulder. Your right shoulder's on a holiday, and just start by drawing your left shoulder up towards your left ear. This is step 1 of the pandiculation, so your upper shoulder is tightening, and step 2 is to slowly and gently untighten. You're releasing that tightness bit by bit. It's deliberate. You're not just letting it drop or pulling it down. You're easing off that tightness bit by bit. And can you keep going to the very, very end without letting it drop? And when you've completely got to the end, just see if there's anything else left to let go. And this is step 3 of the pandiculation, is just resting, noticing what that relaxation feels like. And then we'll do it again. Draw your shoulder up towards your ear. Feel that contraction or what's tight in your upper shoulder there, and then slowly and deliberately release. You're just easing off that effort load bit by bit. Can you allow your arm to be along for the ride, your elbow soft, your hands soft, so that the effort that's letting go is in your shoulder as your shoulder comes down and wide. And when you've completely let everything go, take a full resting breath. We hold the most tension in the last 10%. So often when we feel like we've let go, we're just holding on to that little bit of tension. So just notice if anything else let go. And now check into your shoulders, your left shoulder. Does it feel different to your right? Now you've pandiculated the left side. That triangle between your earlobe, your shoulder and your neck, does that feel a little bigger than the right side maybe? So now we'll let your left shoulder take a break, and we'll go to the right shoulder as the working shoulder, and just draw your shoulder up towards your right ear. Feeling that triangle on this side get smaller. And then step 2 is to slowly ease off that tension, that effort bit by bit. as your shoulder comes down and sideways. Can you control that release to the very end? If you're smoothing through any jumps and jitters or jerks along the way, that's just the disconnect between the information of your brain to your muscle. And when you feel like you've let everything go, take a full resting breath. Notice if your left shoulder was trying to jump in. Can you switch that off? And now we'll go again, drawing your shoulder up towards your ear, feeling that deliberate effort load. What's tight in this right upper shoulder there, your upper trapezius. It's like if turning on the volume of your radio full blast, and now you're slowly turning the volume down. You're controlling the volume now. Can you allow your arm to be along for the ride, your armpits to be soft? And when you feel like you've let everything go, take a full resting breath and just see if there's anything else to let go. Maybe your left shoulder as well, your elbow, your jaw. And now we'll bring the two together. You've pendiculated the left and the right upper shoulders there. So now draw both shoulders up towards your ears. Feel those triangle either side get small. And now ease off that tension bit by bit. You're turning down the volume. It's like you've dropped butter in a pan and it's just melting to the edges as your shoulders melt down and wide. Your arms are just hanging along for the ride, soft. Can you just control that volume release to the very, very end? And just breathe, relax, let everything go. Step 3 of the pandiculation is so that your brain can register. What does that feel like to get to the end of that process and to let go? We're going to do this one last time, but before we do this, can you allow your pelvis just to feel heavy and weighted on the seat as you draw your shoulders and your armpits long away from your hips? Your waist and side seams grow long, feeling the scrunching up your shoulders towards your ears, and keeping your pelvis weighted, just allow your shoulders to slowly release. Turning the volume down as those triangles grow longer and wider. Your neck grows longer. Are you breathing? Can you breathe? Does that help the movement? And when you feel like you've let everything go, just take a few resting breaths for the step 3 of the pandiculation to really rest and notice what that feels like. Check in with your shoulders. Notice that number. Remember that number you had between 1 and 10. Has that number improved or changed? Have those triangles got bigger, longer, wider? And then check in with your seat. That yellow imprint you were making, has that changed from when you started? Is there more of an even yellow? Are those two shapes evened up a little or changed in some way? Only you in the first person will know what that feels like. In a nutshell, pandiculation regains your brain's control over your muscles. If your brain can feel what's happening, it can recognize, then remember, and then reenact that feeling of relaxing and letting go.